Hello guys, this is Sanswell, and today's tutorial is going to be pretty much a tutorial inspired by many leads that I've been hearing on the main stage label by W&W and the Armada label. I guess it's like the Armada and then its main stage in Armada. And this is a distorted lead that I feel is very powerful, and it can be used in trance, in progressive house, in electro house, in trance, electro house, and trance put together. So stick around. So before we get started, I would like to ask you guys if you find this tutorial helpful. If you like the sound, please subscribe, hit the like, comment, leave I don't leave anything like, oh, thank you for making this, or if, ask me any questions about what I did and we can go over them in more specific. Okay, so let's get started then. So before I get started, I want to show you guys how it sounds like every tutorial, and this is how it's going to be sounding like. Okay, so that's in the mid-range. In the high range, it sounds like this. And in the lower range. Okay, so if you like that sound, then stick around, and we're going to be creating it, and we're going to be maybe processing it. Okay, if I have enough time. Okay, so let's get started then. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to add a saw wave to oscillator A1, okay? Once you have the saw wave, you're going to put the voices up to 8. You're going to leave the retrig on. We're going to put the stereo all the way up. We're going to detune this to about 9 o'clock. We're going to leave the phasing down. We're going to put the volume up a bit to around 7.10. The value's right here. And then we're going to leave this like that. We're going to go to the amp envelope A, and this is where the sound comes out of. We're going to put a really release a little bit up from the defaults, and this is not going to be really noticeable, but it's going to allow for you to pretty much roll your bass from note to note. Okay, so just put it up to 1.59 or around there, and the attack just a little bit up, like 0.05. I don't even know why I did that. Okay, now for our second oscillator, we're going to be putting a square wave here. We're going to leave the volume all the way up. We're going to put it to 5 voices, leave the retrig on. We're going to lower that down an octave, so this is going to be pretty much the sound we're going to hear in the lower frequencies. We're going to put the phasing to 51.43 degrees here. We're not going to detune this. We're not going to stereo anything. We're not going to pan it, okay? Now we're going to go to part B, okay? So for part B, you're going to put another saw wave here in oscillator B1. This one's going to be 6 voices, leave the retrig on. This one's voice volume is going to be all the way up, and we're going to detune this a little bit more so we get more of the detuning effect out of this one, okay? We're going to leave the stereo up. We're going to leave panning normal. And then what we're going to do, we're going to leave the amp envelope the same. So the only difference here is just a little release here. Now for our oscillator B2, we're going to be adding a triangle wave. This is where a lot of the greedy sound you're going to hear and the low end's going to come out of. Because when you distort any triangle or sine wave, they tend to give you a nice effect, like a nice fierce, driven, bassy sound. Okay, so we're going to put this to 2 voices. We're going to leave the retrig on, and we're going to lower that down 2 octaves. So this is going to be like your lower end. We're going to turn the phasing up to 56, and we're going to leave everything else the same, okay? So once we have that, we go back to part A. Now we're going to be putting our filter, okay? So just put a low pass filter, leave the cutoff in the middle, and turn the big filter control knob, which controls filter A and B from its length, and move it to 578.90, or in other words, 2 o'clock. We're going to put the resonance up a bit too, to 1.10 or 8 o'clock. And now we're going to go to part B, and you put a low pass as well, and just leave it like that, okay? And sorry, for filter A, put the drive up a little, not by that much. All this does is it makes it louder. Okay, once we have that now we want to go into our mod envelope 1. The mod envelope 1 is like an LFO, except instead of using the LFO features of using a wave in order to control a knob, we're going to be using the envelope, like the amp envelope's properties, in order to move a knob. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put it to cutoff A and B, so it's going to be controlling the filter, and we're going to be putting the black knob, which controls how much we're going to move it by, 2.48, okay? So about by a value of 2.48. We're going to leave the attack down so it becomes instantly in. The effect becomes instantly known. We're going to put the decay so it decays a little. And then we're going to put that at 2.70. Our sustain is going to be at 1.44, and our release is going to be at 4.94, okay? and then we're gonna leave it like that. Next, we're gonna put an LFO. Okay, we're gonna pretty much route the LFO to the pitch. Now this is a technique a lot of trance producers use on saw leads and square leads to get a really nice sound. Orjan Nilsen's well known for this. Most of his sounds are from fucking pitched square leads. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add a high rate. Okay, so we're gonna put this at 160, 1 versus 164. You can put it all the way up, it won't matter. Okay, we're gonna very minimally add some little bit of gain here, and we're gonna minimally move the black knob a little. Let's move it to around, let's say 0.86. So that's how much we're gonna move it by. Okay, so then the wave we're gonna be using for the LFO is gonna be a Q pulse wave. Once you have that, let's go into our effects. Okay, now this is where the distortion is going to come from. We're going to add a bit crush distortion, which pretty much just reduces the bit, or in other words, the quality of the sound in order to get that distortion effect. So we're going to leave the dry all the way up, and we're going to put the amount to 8.57, so around 4 o'clock. We're going to EQ this as well. You don't have to use this EQ. If you want, you can always leave this on and then just EQ out what you don't need, so you can get everything in harmony. Okay, so let's turn the EQ on. We'll put the bass at 5.79 dB. The bass frequency we're going to be doing this to is going to be 195.35 hertz. Okay, the treble is going to be 8.71 dB here, and the treble frequency is going to be 558.04 hertz. Okay, now we're going to be adding a delay. Okay, now you're going to have to move a couple of things here. Our delay time on the left is going to be 1/4 tempo. Our delay time to the right is 1/8 delay. Our low cut, we're going to put it at 7.00. Our high cut's going to be at 4688.44 hertz. We're going to be adding a ping pong effect to this. We're going to smear this, okay, 3.19. Our spread is going to be 35.24%. Our feedback 60%. Our width 69.05, and our dry and width is going to be 39.05. Okay, now we're going to be adding a reverb to this to give it that big room sound. So the pre-delay is going to be set to 77.14 milliseconds. We're going to damp it by 3.19. The size of this is going to be 7.31. The width of the reverb is going to be 83.81, and our dry and wet is going to be at 30.95. Okay, so once we have everything set, and you should be getting this sound. Okay, so sorry if I couldn't go slower or be explaining everything. It's just that my channel got a copyright strike a while back, and I just realized I can't upload any videos longer than 15 minutes. So if you guys have any questions on what certain things do, then just leave a question in the comment section. Okay,